Do you want to make money online, but you're feeling overwhelmed, confused, and frustrated? Are you spending money on online courses, but you still can't make any money online? You see, unlike any other business, there is no rule book of how to make money online. Nobody succeeds when they first get in started. But you can dramatically increase your success rate by focusing on 5 core elements. So, these are the 4% that get 97% of your results. So if you commit on following the steps that I'm going to show you in this video, soon your friends will be asking you for tips of how to make money online. Tip number 1, get familiar with your industry. I am shocked sometimes that some people don't even do any research before they get into this market. The online industry, the online marketing industry is a totally different beast. I'm going to go ahead and tell you some facts about it so you'll be on the know. The online marketing industry is a $46 billion industry and it's increasing by 10% each and every year. The shocking part is only 3% of all the online marketers worldwide generate that $46 billion. Yes, only 3%. Now you might ask yourself, what about that 97%? What happens? Well, they try many times and they fail. They don't make any money. And some people ask, well, if only 3% generate $46 billion a year, well, how much money are they making? Well, surprisingly, they are making between $15,000 a month to more than $300,000 a month. That's a lot of money. So make sure before you do anything, remember 3% making all the money. Tip number 2, you must have a mentor. This is no question about it. 93% of all millionaires online and offline say the same thing. They would never succeed if they did not have a mentor. So I'm going to tell you just a little story about me. I am absolutely blessed, but it wasn't always like this for me. I had a very hard time, but I've been in this business for 10 years. When I first got started, I was confused, overwhelmed, frustrated. I was flying from place to place, taking seminars. I was taking lots of courses. I felt like I was on a course treadmill. I was taking a course after course and not getting any results at all. I felt like I'm in the same place. I was also in debt for over $53,000 and I was not able to get myself out of this. I was borrowing money from friends and families. That was not the right thing to do, but I had no choice but to do that. Until I found my mentor by accident in one of the seminars. And that changed everything for me because he positively changed my life to the better, changed everything about my life. But it wasn't easy getting him to help me because they're very selective. So my advice to you is to find a mentor. Now, for me, I was lucky enough to be in the same place at the same time he was in. So that's why 93% of all millionaires, multimillionaires, and billionaires say the same thing. They contribute their success to their mentor. So find a mentor. The saddle before the horse syndrome. You're probably wondering, what is that? Well, you are focusing on a product, and that's one of the biggest problem and the biggest failure for the 97% is because they spend a whole lot of time trying to find the right product to promote, the right product maybe to create, and so forth. Well, you are missing the point. The product is not what the issue is. I'm going to go ahead and ask you a question. Does McDonald's make the best tasting hamburger in the world? They don't. I know it. You know it. But why are they the #1 hamburger seller in the world? Because of two things. They have system and they have foundation. Even if you have not such a good product, if you have these two things, system and foundation, you'll be able to be successful online. And that's one of the biggest secrets that I am so surprised that nobody teaches and hardly anybody knows about. A lot of people get in love with the product, it's good, but they end up losing. So if I give you the best product, which I can, the best product that you can sell, I guarantee that success will not last for too long. Now, I do have another example besides McDonald's. I want you to think about your business as you are building a skyscraper, so to speak, metaphorically. You're building a skyscraper. This is your business. You want to build an empire, right? So let me ask you something. Can you build a floor number 2 before you build floor number 1? It's impossible. Now, each of these floors is a product. So you have lots of product you're building. If you want to succeed, you have to build a product over product. You don't have to build everything at the same time, obviously, right? But when you are building a skyscraper, you don't start from the top down, okay? Now, we talked about, okay, you can't build floor number 2 before floor number 1. But can you build floor number 1 before you build your foundation? You can't. And that's what 97% of all the people who are failing are actually doing. Do not start from the top. Start from the foundation. Tip number 4, which is I call the superhero syndrome. Now, we have entrepreneurs who are driven, but they want to do everything themselves. They want to build the website. They want to create the sales funnels. They want to design the sales funnels. They want to write the blog. They want to do almost everything in that business, even create and manage their social media websites or platforms. And they end up shooting themselves in the foot because they're not acting as an entrepreneur. They're acting more like an employee. And that's the wrong way. And this is going to bring us to the other tip, which is tip number 5. Tip number 5 is having the right mindset. There are 3 types of mindset. One of them is a limited self-belief mindset. This is usually happens in the past. There are some past environmental that was influencing and limiting that person from actually succeeding in their life. Fortunately, you can fix that. There is something you can do to straighten that out. I'm not going to say this is really easy. You have to have the right strategy in mind in order for you to do that. The second type of mentality or mindset, which is the employee mindset. The employee mindset starts from the beginning as bad because most people do hate their jobs. They're not passionate about their jobs. So its negativity is already there in their mind. And when they operate on that frequency, they're not going to get really good results. In addition to that, all the employees have this mentality. This is not my company. Okay, something happened. They blame each other. They blame maybe their colleagues, their friends, their manager, their supervisor. It really doesn't matter. This is the wrong thing to do. The third one is the actual right mentality, which is the entrepreneur or the CEO. Now, you have to think of yourself as the CEO of your name incorporated, whatever your name is. You have to really think about that. If you really don't, you're going to have a really bad time. What I'm talking about is if you are thinking you are not the CEO, you start doing the things you shouldn't be doing and start thinking like an employee. And that is a big problem to a lot of people. They fail because of that. They think that, well, you know, I am the employee of my company. I'm just going to do everything. I'm going to blame this person and this person. I'm going to have excuses. When you're an entrepreneur, when you're the CEO of your company, there is no excuses. Nothing. Zero. Buck stops with you. So there is nothing and nobody to blame. Now, in conclusion, I really don't want you to think that it is your fault. It is not your fault because there's a lot of misinformation online and there's even a lot of misinformation in courses. that are being sold. And it seems to me that a lot of these courses, it seems like the blind is leading the blind. That when they start selling courses with tactics and strategies that hit their expiration date, but it's still being recycled and people are still buying it. And when they buy it, they end up just like the 97%. And I don't want you to end up like them. You can become much better. So now you have this information. But I just remember something that my mentor told me, and it's very intriguing. I still remember it very vividly, because when we first got started, when our first meeting, he told me something that was kind of shocking to me. He said across the table, he goes, I want you to know something. I'm not smarter than you. I don't have a higher IQ than you, and I'm not more educated than you. The only difference between you and me is that I know things you don't know. I was like baffled in the beginning because I was just getting started. I don't know what he was talking about. But of course, now I do very well. And that's exactly the difference between the 4%, which he is, because he is a multimillionaire. Now, the 97% are the ones that don't know the information. And I'm hoping that you know some of the information right now. Now, what I'd like you to do right now, we haven't talked about, what is the best product to actually sell. We do a lot of research, and I'm gonna go ahead, in case there is enough people who are interested about what type of product you wanna sell online, please let me know. Do two things. One of them is subscribe to this channel. Second, put something. If you have a comment, please go ahead and put it in there. I'll read all of them, and I'll get back with you soon.